How did the Matrix series go from this
You're empty. So are you.
to this?
This isn't happening. It's in my mind. It's in my mind.
The original film's trailer posed a question. What is The Matrix? In 1999, no one knew they were about to get a groundbreaking, paradigm-changing cinematic masterpiece. The series was created by filmmakers the Wachowskis, with Lana Wachowski going solo for the final film. No one had seen anything like The Matrix before. It was a singular vision composed of far-reaching influences like Eastern and Western storytelling traditions, religion, and a plethora of genre references, such as Hong Kong wuxia films, cyberpunk literature, and body horror, all the way to ancient philosophy. Shout out Plato. The Matrix also proved insanely influential itself. On a technical level, with its innovative blending of CGI and practical effects, along with the complex camera technique called bullet time, which we'll see in multiple of the film's biggest moments. The story focuses on Neo, a low-level office drone who moonlights as a hacker. He uncovers his destiny as the central force in a war between mankind and sentient machines that want to control humanity. The Matrix lends itself to multiple interpretations, and each subsequent film gets progressively weirder. There's a boatload of characters, lore, and places, but this story is better told with you knowing as little as possible. So without further ado, let's plug into The Matrix. The Matrix begins with the Warner Brothers logo redesigned in a green tint as if we were looking at a computer monitor. Green text code takes over the screen and we zoom in and emerge in an abandoned building. A group of cops bust down the door to find a woman in all black at a computer. This is Trinity, one of the core fighters in the war against the machines. She has an incredible romance that I'm not gonna spoil just yet. She is also insanely badass, which we are about to see in spectacular fashion. But first, two guys in suits pull up to the scene. Are these the feds? Not quite. They're agents, the main antagonists of the series, who are significantly stronger than any of the heroes. Before they can reach Trinity, she's already wrecking the cops, and we get our first instance of bullet time. Still so damn cool after all these years. She clears the room, but they've got backup on the way. The agent chases Trinity to a rooftop, and it looks like she has nowhere to go. Trinity leaps over a huge building, but the agent follows. She then reaches street level and sprints for a ringing payphone. She picks it up and disappears as a truck rams into it. An agent gets out of the truck and confers with others. One of them says the name of their next target is Neo. After that action-packed opening, we're introduced to another character. This is Thomas Anderson. He lives a mundane life with a boring office job, a fate worse than hell in late 90s movies, but comes alive online as the hacker Neo. He wakes up to his computer displaying the words "The Matrix has you. Follow the white rabbit, knock knock Neo." As soon as the text appears, a knock on Neo's door. He opens it up to some fly cyberpunks who are buying illegal software from him. They invite Neo to the club to party. He says no at first, but then notices one of the girls has a white rabbit tattoo. Holy, what is going on? Neo, not much of a raver, just observes when he's approached by the badass lady from the intro, Trinity. She knows his name, but he's aware of her too. She's a legendary hacker. Trinity tells him that she can lead him to Morpheus, a prominent figure in the Resistance, which is basically a band of humans who fight the machines. According to Trinity, Morpheus will answer Neo's questions, the big one being, what is the Matrix? The next day at work, Neo gets a package. It's a cell phone. Neo gets a call from Morpheus, who warns him that goons are coming right now. It's the agents. Oh snap! Neo, guided by Morpheus on the phone, tries to escape, but he chickens out when he's told to scale his office building, and he ends up dropping the phone like a dumbass. Sorry, Keanu, we can all be Tom Cruise. Neo is caught and then interrogated by Agent Smith, who is the main villain in the entire series. But for now, he's on the same power level as the other agents. Smith seems to know everything about Neo and asks about Morpheus. He also endows Neo with his condescending pet name that we see him repeat again and again.
I'm going to be as forthcoming as I can be, Mr. Anderson.
But Neo is not going to talk, so Smith really shuts him up. Oh god, that's horrific. Next, Smith slips a robot bug right into Neo's stomach. When the horror seems to be too much, Neo wakes up. Just a dream? No way. The next morning, Neo gets a call from Morpheus, who tells him that he's the one, whatever that means. He gives Neo a meeting location, and Trinity picks him up. On the car ride, she pulls out a seriously sci-fi looking device and extracts the bug from his stomach. They arrive to meet Morpheus. They talk and have a mind-blowing conversation about the nature of reality and the Matrix as a system of lies meant to maintain the current power structure. They could be talking about capitalism or gender or any of the other dozens of interpretations people have for this film. Morpheus offers Neo a choice.
The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland.
Neo takes the red pill and seeks the truth. Neo's reality begins to alter. He gets wrapped up in a mirror-like metallic substance that runs down his throat. Neo suddenly awakes in a pod, covered in tubes. He's surrounded by literal towers of other humans in the same kind of capacity. His awakening is discovered by a sentinel, a terrifying insect-like machine. It unplugs the tube connecting to Neo's head, and the water drains from the pod, taking Neo with it. Neo wakes up on board the Nebuchadnezzar, Morpheus' beat-up but trusty hovercraft named after an ancient biblical king. Neo slowly recovers, and Morpheus finally decides to give him a tour of the bay and introduces his crew, including the rat-faced Cypher, Tank, his brother Dozer, and Mouse. Once they get acquainted, Morpheus plugs Neo's head into a virtual realm called the Construct to finally explain what the heck is going on. You see, it's not actually 1999. We're far off in the year 2199. Humans made really smart AI robots and, shocker, they turned on us. There was a war between man and machine. Earth was basically destroyed. In a desperate move, humanity tried blocking out the sun to cut off the machine's solar charging, so the machines began to derive their power from humans themselves, turning them into batteries. Mentally, humans are plugged in at all times to the Matrix, a giant simulation.
The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control.
The Matrix makes everyone believe life is normal when, in reality, they're trapped in pods with no clue of what's really happening. Morpheus thinks Neo could be the one, basically the one chosen by the system who can hack the simulation, fighting the machines and saving humanity. The next morning, Tank, the Nebuchadnezzar's operator, tells Neo about Zion, an underground city where the surviving free humans congregate in a harsh existence. Next, Tank brings Neo to training and installs combat skills directly into his brain, using the port. And yeah, we also get one of the best Keanu line deliveries.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me.
This is a sparring program, similar to the programmed reality of the Matrix.
Neo and Morpheus train in the Construct, and the fight choreography is amazing. Morpheus shows that the simulation can be manipulated to perform superhuman feats. Oh, so that's how Trinity leaped buildings in the beginning. Anyway, Neo is still getting the hang of things. When Neo is unplugged, he's bloody. The simulation is so strong, your mind makes it real, which means death in the Matrix equals death in the real world. That's what I call high stakes. In another training session, Morpheus explains agents. They're sentient programs in the Matrix that can inhabit anyone who isn't unplugged. They can move between software and possess control of the Matrix on a level that greatly exceeds that of Morpheus' crew. While we're learning all this information, Morpheus gets a call. He and Neo are extracted. The Nebuchadnezzar is chased by a machine, but goes stealth mode and escapes. Inside, Neo hangs out with Cypher, the crew member with the rat face. He definitely has a crush on Trinity. Anyways, Cypher tells Neo to run away from the agents if he encounters them in the Matrix. We then cut to Cypher eating a steak in a nice restaurant. And it turns out he's an actual rat. He's meeting with Agent Smith and makes a deal. He'll betray the Nebuchadnezzar's crew in exchange for having his mind wiped and replugged into the Matrix for a comfortable life. Because who can turn down a good steak? Back on the Nebuchadnezzar, the crew eats slop. Neo, Trinity, Morpheus, and the rest are plugged into the Matrix while Tank manages the ship. They're off to see the Oracle, who, as her name implies, can make accurate predictions. She foresaw the coming of the One after all. On the way over, Trinity says the Oracle predicted her future but stopped short of telling Neo any specifics. They arrive at an apartment building. We see the potentials, human children with the ability to manipulate the Matrix. In private, the Oracle asks Neo if he thinks he's the one. Neo admits that he doesn't know. She says he would know if it were him, implying that Morpheus may be mistaken. The Oracle then makes a shocking prediction. Morpheus will sacrifice his life to save Neo. Someone has to die, Morpheus or Neo. Oh boy, that's not good. Tank warns the crew of agents headed their way. They go up a building, but all exits are sealed shut. Mouse distracts the agents with gunfire, but is no match for them. The crew hides inside the building's walls, but it's only a matter of time before they're discovered. Morpheus, still convinced that Neo is the one, sacrifices himself to stop Agent Smith, allowing the others to escape. He's overpowered and taken prisoner. Outside, Cypher gets to a phone before the others and calls Tank to be extracted. Cypher wakes up and lasers Tank immediately and begins disconnecting the others. This guy is a real son of a... He's about to disconnect Neo and Trinity when... Let's go, Tank! He extracts Neo and Trinity. Smith interrogates Morpheus to get the codes for Zion's mainframe. Morpheus doesn't say. Back on the ship, Tank wants to disconnect Morpheus, but Neo says hell nah. We're gonna go save him. Trinity doesn't want Neo to put himself at risk because he's the one and all. He reveals that the Oracle implied he's not the one, but Trinity still doesn't believe him. Neo tells the others he can bring Morpheus back. Back in the Matrix, Smith breaks Morpheus down with philosophical monologues on the nature of existence and evolution. It doesn't seem like he can hold out much longer. Neo and Trinity show up in their most iconic outfits for easily the series' most unforgettable shootout.
Back up! Stand back up!
Neo and Trinity clear the lobby and advance through the building, causing a massive slow-mo explosion on their way up. Yeah, I don't think insurance covers that. On the roof, it looks like Neo and Trinity have taken out all the baddies when an agent shows up. Neo isn't strong enough to fight him, so he dodges the bullets instead. Even if you haven't seen this movie, you've probably seen a parody of this scene or two, or three. Neo's distraction opens the agent to a shot from Trinity. Next, they get in a helicopter, which is conveniently sitting right there, blast the agents inside, and get Morpheus out. Trinity crashes the chopper into the building on the way out, leading to a seriously cool effect. Damn, they ain't playing. Morpheus asks Neo if he's accepted his destiny as the one, but he's still not sure. Morpheus and Trinity find a phone exit point and they use it to escape. It's Neo's turn to evacuate, but they've got company, Agent Smith. Neo decides to fight instead of running. It's a showdown for the ages, with Neo keeping Smith on the ropes and eventually throwing him in front of a train. But that's not enough to stop him. The bastard regenerates and keeps coming after Neo. At the same time, on the Nebuchadnezzar, Sentinels begin closing in on the ship. Neo tries to find an exit but ends up getting shot in the gut by Smith. In the real world, Trinity confesses to Neo's dying body about what the Oracle told her. The man whom she will love is the one. Trinity goes in for a kiss. Ooh, chills. Motivated by locking lips with the baddie, Neo gets the strength he needs to finish the job. Damn, he really is the one. Anyway, the agents quickly run away. Neo reaches an exit point just as the Nebuchadnezzar fires an electromagnetic pulse, stopping the machines in the real world. Neo wakes up looking at Trinity, his new love. The screen is taken over yet again by the green code of the Matrix, with Neo's voice on voiceover, promising to free the minds of other humans. The final image is Neo flying away to a Rage Against the Machine song, the way every 90s movie should end. Up next in release order came The Matrix Reloaded, but I'm gonna hack into this video to cover the Animatrix first. The Animatrix was released to the public only a month following the second film. It's an anthology of short films set in the Matrix universe, each directed by a different animation studio. Art styles span from computer animation to anime and back again. All segments are worth watching, but we're going to cover the most essential portions that move the story forward. The most notable segment is a two-parter prequel, The Second Renaissance, that tells the story of the machines' rise to power. This is the only segment fully written by the Wachowskis. In the mid-21st century, humans live in luxury, with machines serving them and doing all the hard work. This all changes when a robot, B166ER, kills its owners. He's put on trial and claims self-defense. Bad news, buddy. Machines don't have rights. In the end, he's destroyed, which causes mass unrest amongst the machines. Humans respond with absolute brutality. world governments decide they've had enough of machines and start mass extermination. But a few survivors escape to what was once ancient Mesopotamia, kind of like how humans founded Zion, the city Tank was talking about that we're gonna see real soon. Machines established the society of 0-1 in Machine City. Left to their own devices, the machines level up their tech to the point that their innovations take over all financial markets. The UN, which is now a unified world government, decides to blockade 0-1. The machines try to solve things peacefully by joining the UN, but the humans aren't interested in partnership. The UN decides to nuke the heck out of 0-1. Their infrastructure is destroyed, but the machines themselves are resistant to the nuke's effects. Now, with a taste for revenge, they rise up and begin taking over the world. The humans try a last resort, Operation Dark Storm, block out the sun to stop the machines from accessing their power source. Machines reinvent themselves into sentinels, the bug-like robots we saw earlier. In the waning days of the war, the machines begin using humans as their batteries.
The machine drawing power from the human body, an endlessly multiplying, infinitely renewable energy source.
With a new power source, the machines finish the job, until the last human leader surrendered. Humans are beyond cooked. From here, machines level up their human battery farms and create the Matrix to keep their captives complacent. Damn, what a setup. The next one, Kids' Story, directed by Cowboy Bebop creator Shinichiro Watanabe, is the only entry to feature Neo and introduces Kid, who becomes the important in the end. It's also a good case study for what Neo was doing for the 6-month time period between movies, freeing human minds all over the Matrix. We find Kid like Neo at the start of the movie, a disaffected hacker who knows something isn't right. He ends up on a chat room and starts talking to Neo. The next day at school, he writes in his notebook, "Get me out of here," along with Neo and Trinity's names. Right on cue, several agents pull up outside. Kid leads them on a chase throughout his entire high school, and the animation is seriously insane. They chase him to the roof, and he takes a leap of faith. Later, Kid wakes up in the real world, and we see some familiar faces.
I didn't save you, kid. You saved yourself.
And that's how Kid freed his mind. The next one, Last Flight of Osiris, is closest in chronological order to the start of Matrix Reloaded. On board the Osiris, the ship's operator Robbie alerts his crew, including Captain Thaddeus, to some radar showing a scary amount of sentinels nearby. The ship takes out some smaller sentinels and the Osiris flies up to the surface of Earth. Captain Thaddeus sees the unthinkable, an entire army of machines drilling towards Zion. That is very bad. It isn't long before the Sentinels find the Osiris and chase it. Thaddeus and his partner Ju know that they're doomed. So Ju goes into the Matrix to pass along what they saw in a message, which kicks off the events of the game Enter the Matrix. Ju tries to extract, but the Osiris gets torn apart by Sentinels, killing everyone on board. And just like that, the stage is set for Matrix Reloaded. That covers the Animatrix. We also recommend checking out The Shorts, a detective story, a film noir homage in black and white, with a moody voiceover featuring a private investigator looking into Trinity, and World Record, which has some stunning animation and focuses on a human awaking from the Matrix mid-Olympic game. Alrighty, with that out of the way, let's plug back into live action. Like the original film, The Matrix Reloaded opens with Trinity mid-mission. She jumps out of a building and an agent follows her. They exchange fire in the air, all in glorious bullet time slow-mo. Unfortunately, she takes a shot in the gut. It looks pretty bad, then Neo wakes up. He's next to Trinity. Looks like they're official now. The Nebuchadnezzar is driven by its new pilot, Link, who's married to Tank's sister. The crew arrives at a meeting in the Matrix with Captain Niobe, who reports the last transmission from the Osiris. The machines are digging to Zion, and will reach it within 72 hours. All ships are summoned back to Zion to prepare for the assault, but Morpheus asks one ship to remain broadcasting in case the Oracle contacts them. It isn't long before agents crash the party and Neo shows off his masterful combat skills. Smith is on the scene too, and there's two of him. The fight with Neo in the previous film set Smith free as a rogue program, existing outside of the machine's control with powerful new abilities. The Nebuchadnezzar arrives in Zion, and we see some guys in badass mechs standing guard. Morpheus is brought by security to meet with Commander Locke. commander of the defenses of Zion. He's also super skeptical of the One prophecy. Neo is met by an adoring fan, the kid from the Animatrix. He's super annoying and practically begs to join the Nebuchadnezzar. You gotta dress a lot cooler for that, buddy. Neo is given a messiah's reception by the people of Zion, even if the top brass of the resistance are skeptical of him being the One. That night, Zion gathers to hear Morpheus' announcement of the impending machine assault. Before they gear up defenses, they have a giant freaking rave. I'm glad to see electronic music is alive and well in 2199. All this goes on while Trinity and Neo bone in a scene I totally didn't rewind a few times as a teen. Moving on, back in the Matrix, two Resistance members, including Bane, run from Agent Smith. Bane's partner unplugs through a phone. Bane is about to follow, but Smith sticks his arm into Bane's stomach and turns him into another Smith. Next, Smith picks up the phone to enter the real world. The next day, Neo is alerted that the Oracle wants to make contact. On their way out, Bane, with Smith's consciousness, sneaks up behind the crew with a dagger, but they catch him, and he plays it off as totally normal. On the ship, Neo enters the Matrix and meets Seraph, the Oracle's bodyguard. They get into a friendly kung fu match, and he takes Neo out of the Japanese-style restaurant into the back door, an area of the Matrix that is programmer access only, represented as a sterile office hallway full of doors. They open one that leads to a city park, where they find the Oracle. She and Neo talk. It becomes clear the Oracle is a program in the Matrix, not another human. She tells Neo that he's gotta reach the Source, the machine's mainframe, to fulfill his destiny as the One. But for that to happen, he needs to find the Keymaker to gain access, who's being held prisoner by the Merovingian, an information trafficker and one of the oldest programs in the Matrix. Should be easy enough, right? Alright, enough talk, it's fight time. Smith shows up and demonstrates his new cloning powers. He tries to take over Neo's body, but the One fights him off, leading to an explosive battle. The Smith clones keep coming and coming. They dogpile him, but Neo is able to buck them off and fly away. I guess that's a power the Smiths don't have. Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity go to see the Merovingian, who's posted up in a luxurious French restaurant. Merovingian is a complete bastard France lover. There's also a weird detour where a woman at a nearby table had an while eating cake, which is shown filtered through Matrix code. Creep extraordinaire Merovingian seems to love it. Anyways, he won't give up the Keymaker, but his wife, Persephone, intercepts them on the way out and volunteers to lead our heroes to the Keymaker if Neo kisses her. Trinity is not a fan. Neo reluctantly agrees, and this has to be the unhappiest anyone has ever looked while making out with Monica Bellucci. Anyways, she leads them to the Keymaker, who is literally surrounded by keys. Really creative name. They escort him, but are met in the lobby by Merovingian and his goons, including fan favorites, the Twins, who are powerful ghost-like rogue programs with an incredibly sick character design. The fight starts in the lobby with Neo kicking it off in style by stopping a hail of bullets. Damn, he's strong. The fight leads onto the streets for a legendary car chase scene that runs for 15 minutes and required the construction of a 1.5-mile road, hundreds of vehicles, and death-defying stunts to pull off. In the end, Morpheus obliterates the Twins, Trinity escapes, and Neo rescues Morpheus and the Keymaker from Merovingian's forces just in time. Later, the Keymaker gives Neo a plane to access the Source. Two other ships' crews need to take out facilities simultaneously. In the real world, Neo asks Trinity to stay out of the action. As he's been having visions of her death, she reluctantly agrees. Alright, Source time. They launch the plan, but one of the ships is destroyed. So Trinity enters the Matrix to fulfill their role, which is the mission she was on at the film's start. In the back door, the Keymaker, Morpheus, and Neo are ambushed by Smith clones. The Keymaker unlocks the Source's door, but dies from the crossfire. Neo gets into the Source, which is a room covered in TVs. He meets the Architect, the creator of the Matrix. They have an incredibly trippy conversation where he reveals that the One is part of the Matrix's design, and this is the 6th go-round for humanity's fight for freedom. The Architect then reveals that Neo has a choice: reboot the Matrix from the Source while being allowed to repopulate Zion, or save Trinity and let everyone plugged into the Matrix die from an unavoidable system crash.
Already I can see the chain reaction. the chemical precursors that signal the onset of an emotion.
All 5 of his predecessors chose door number 1, but Neo ain't built like that. Trinity is chased by agents out of a window, but this time, Neo saves the day. He does some real messiah and removes the bullet from her chest. But she still dies, so he freaking restarts her heart, mirroring Trinity saving Neo in the first film. Back in the real world, Neo tells Morpheus what he learned from the architect, but Morpheus keeps his faith in the One. They got bigger problems right now. Sentinels are attacking the ship, causing the crew to leave on foot while the trustworthy Nebuchadnezzar is destroyed. The Sentinels come for the crew, and Neo does a feat greater than anything we've seen so far. That's right, this dude can manipulate reality itself. But the energy usage causes Neo to fall into a coma. Luckily, another ship, the Mjolnir, picks up the crew. The captain reveals that all other ships have been destroyed in the machine's attack. Neo is placed in the ship's medical bay next to the sole survivor of another craft, the Smith-possessed Bane. Oh snap, talk about a cliffhanger. Fans didn't have to wait long for the payoff. The Matrix Revolutions came only 6 months later. This concludes the main trilogy and is the start of when these movies begin to get a bit divisive among both critics and fans. Let's get into it. We pick up right where we left off, with Neo and Bane Smith laying real close on the medical bay. Inside Neo's mind, he wakes up in a subway station known as Mobile Ave. Neo meets Sati, a program with no purpose, and later her family who are smuggling her to avoid deletion. This is a sort of purgatory between the Matrix and the real world. Meanwhile, Morpheus and Trinity go to meet the Oracle, who tells them about Neo's predicament. The station is overseen by the train man, who is the employee of our old French friend Merovingian. Seraph is gonna take them to see him. Back at Mobile Ave, a train finally arrives and Neo thinks it's his ride. Instead, he meets the train man. That's gonna hurt. Neo tries to leave on foot, but his ass is trapped. Seraph, Morpheus, and Trinity go to the Merovingian hideout, Club Hell. After a gunfight in the lobby, they find the Frenchman holding court on the dance floor. Merovingian wants to cut a deal in exchange for Neo's freedom, but Trinity has a better one in mind. Release Neo or get a bullet in the head. Trinity rides the train in and gets Neo out of there. Next, Neo goes to see the Oracle, who is now watching after Sati. She tells him that Smith is trying to gain the power to destroy all life in and out of the Matrix. Neo is extracted back to the real world, and our old favorite Agent Smith visits the Oracle. He assimilates her and gains her psychic abilities. In the real world, Bane is interrogated, but doesn't seem to remember. The ship finds Niobe's craft Logos powered down and brings Niobe on board. Morpheus and the others begin planning to defend Zion, but Neo has other plans. He wants to go right to Machine City and take on the robots directly. Niobe gives Neo Logos. Neo and Trinity take off, but little do they know, they have a stowaway. Bane takes Trinity hostage, and Neo can tell it's Smith right away. They get in a fight, leading to Neo getting blinded by a power cable. Okay, I didn't see that coming. Without eyes, Neo is still guided by visions.
I can see you.
Meanwhile, over on Zion, Sentinels break through and humanity begins its epic fight, using mechs, rocket launchers, and everything else they have. The Mjolnir, containing Niobe and Morpheus, rushes to make it back, but the gate is shut. The responsibility to clear the way for Mjolnir's entry falls on Kid, when his captain dies. Kid takes his mech and gets to the gate, opening it just in time. The ship detonates an EMP, which disables the Sentinels. Good. But also disables Zion's defenses. Not so good. More Sentinels arrive, and Zion waits for the inevitable. Elsewhere, Logos arrives at Machine City. Neo's able to shut down a few Sentinels, but passes out pretty quickly. Trinity does some fancy flying. Oh, nope. Spoke too soon. Trinity is fatally wounded. Trinity and Neo share one last moment together.
I can't go with you, Neo. I've gone as far as I can.
What?
Man, that is incredibly tragic. Not long after, Neo meets the leader of Machine City, and the machine's collective consciousness, the Deus Ex Machina, which literally means God of the Machine. Neo tries to make a deal. He'll kill Smith for Zion's peace in exchange for the machines leaving Zion alone. Right when Deus Ex agrees to the deal, over at Zion, the attack suddenly stops. Neo plugs back into the Matrix, which should be called the Smith-Trix. Seriously, he took over everything. Oracle Smith says he has foreseen victory, Neo is like, nope, and they fight for a long-ass time. It's Dragon Ball Z style, as these two seemingly evenly matched warriors fly, punch, kick, and throw each other all over the city streets and sky. Eventually, Neo can't take it and allows himself to be assimilated, but it's not over. The machines send energy into Neo's body, which causes a crazy light show, complete with a Christian-style cross. All Smiths explode in bursts of light. Neo dies, but everyone else in the Matrix is restored. At Zion, the Sentinels retreat, and at long last, humanity is free. Back at Machine City, the Sentinels take Neo's body away. So after all this, is the Matrix still active? Yep, it's just rebooted. The Oracle meets our old friend the Architect from Reloaded on a park bench. They agree there will be peace for some time, and anyone who wants to leave the Matrix will be free to do so. The Oracle also tells Sati, the girl from the train station from earlier, that they will see Neo again. Looks like she just predicted another movie, and she was right. Even though the Matrix Revolutions had epic action, some fans were a little unsatisfied with the way the story wrapped up and spent decades begging for a sequel. In 2021, that time finally came with an even more controversial legacy sequel, The Matrix Resurrections. After the cinematic spectacle of the other installments, it's a little disappointing that this one went right into streaming on initial release with a limited theatrical presence due to the COVID pandemic. This go-around adds a meta layer, and is the most hated entry by fans so far. We meet Bugs, a young hacker with a white rabbit tattoo, just like in the first movie. Bugs and her partner see the scene of Trinity in the opening of the original movie. This is the old code within the Matrix playing out again and again. Agents crash the party and Bugs shows off some smooth moves. One of the agents happens to be a new version of Morpheus, this time in program form. Both Bugs and Morpheus have visions of strange repeating loops that visually call back to the original film. Bugs brings new Morpheus into the real world. Alright, let's get to Neo. He's going by a familiar name, Thomas Anderson. In this incarnation, he's created a hit game series called, wait for it, The Matrix. I told you this one was meta. He goes to get a coffee and observes a woman from afar. Trinity? Nope, he has no memory of her. This woman is named Tiffany. Anderson created a character in his game based on her, which is weird because Tiffany is a married woman. Thing is, Anderson is not doing so hot mentally. He struggles to tell the difference between dreams and reality. Sounds like a bad case of matrixitis. He goes to see a therapist and gets prescribed blue pills. Back at work, his team discusses their plans for Matrix 4, leading to some glorious meta commentary.
Obviously, the Matrix is about
Transpolitics.
Crypto-fascism
It's a metaphor.
of capitalist exploitation.
Eventually, Neo decides to stop taking the pills and finally gets to know Tiffany. He has no memories of his previous life, but flashes do appear regularly. I hope you like clips to the previous movies because there's a lot of them in this one. Anyways, back at the office, Neo gets a message from Bugs to get out of there, and he meets the revamped Morpheus in the bathroom, who offers him a red pill, but Neo is in denial that any of this is real. Cops overtake his office, and the carnage awakens new memories in Neo's business partner, who is a new form of Smith. Still, Neo denies it all. Later, Bugs meets Neo on top of a building that he contemplates jumping from. She brings him to Morpheus, and he finally takes that damn red pill. Wakes up in a pod and sees Trinity in another. He's brought by a sentinel to Bugs' ship. There's some memory jogging, including another sick dojo martial arts scene with Morpheus. Bugs brings Neo to the city, Io. He meets a familiar face, Niobe, who catches us up to speed. It's been 60 years since the Machine War and all of Neo's friends, including the Morpheus we know from the other films, have died. Sidebar here, but the first Morpheus' death is shown in the MMO game The Matrix Online, and admittedly, it's pretty lame. Humanity has been at peace, but mass amounts of people leaving the Matrix created an energy crisis among the machines. A group of machines attacked Zion, but others remembered the truce and tried to stop the robot brethren. The people of Zion Zion escaped and founded EO, alongside the contingent of machines that support the humans. Neo wants to rescue Trinity, but Niobe thinks it's too risky. Neo gets sent to his room, but is shortly retrieved by Bugs. Neo and Bugs plug into the Matrix to meet with Trinity, but Smith attacks along with other exiled programs, including that French bastard, the Merovingian, who looks really rough. Neo's abilities return in the fight, and they fend the baddies off. Neo finds Trinity, and she begins to remember but then dissolves in front of him to reveal Neo's therapist from earlier. He is actually the Analyst, a program made to study the human psyche. Neo attacks but gets stopped in his tracks. Literally, the Analyst can freeze time. Buckle up, because he's about to share a whole lot of lore. Apparently, after Neo and Trinity died, the Analyst studied Neo's body and then used his findings to convince his higher-ups to resurrect both Neo and Trinity. He wanted to harvest the one's unique energy to generate more power than before. He discovered that keeping Neo and Trinity apart generated an insane amount of power. The Analyst was able to take control of the Matrix from our old friend, the Architect. He creates a new version of the Matrix that thrives off emotional manipulation instead of creating an authentic world. When Neo was freed, it messed up the new Matrix. The Analyst threatens Neo to return to his pod or he will kill Trinity. They're extracted when Niobe's men from Neo find Bugs' ship, which left without clearance. Bugs and Neo head back to EO, where Niobe is pissed. But Neo quickly gets summoned to meet with Sati, the girl from the train station. She hates the Analyst too because he killed her parents. What a... She helps Neo come up with a plan to free Trinity. Morpheus, represented in the real world as floating nanobots, will infiltrate Neo's pod and pave the way for Bugs to reach Trinity's pod. Neo meets with the Analysts in the Matrix and cuts a deal. He'll head back to his pod if he can't convince Trinity to leave the Matrix. He meets up with her, and an audience of the Analyst's men observe. Trinity tells Neo he has to be mistaken and starts to go back with her husband and kid. But at the last minute, she looks back and realizes who she really is, the one and only Trinity. The Analyst freezes time as Neo and Trinity begin wrecking, but an even bigger bad shows up, Smith. He throws the Analyst off, allowing Neo and Trinity to finally do some kung fu together. They head outside to see a mass of people, manipulated by the Analyst, closing in. They get on a motorcycle and get the hell out of there. There's a massive chase, and they're pursued to the top of a skyscraper. Neo and Trinity decide to jump when... she's the one who can fly now. That's what I call character development. They're extracted and finally reunite in the real world. Aw, finally, a happy ending. Later, they head back to the Matrix to rough up the Analyst a bit, but Trinity and Neo are now the one, with complete mastery of the Matrix. Maybe they should be called the two? Okay, I'll shut up now. Neo and Trinity fly away with plans to reinvent the Matrix and free the minds of those inside once and for all. So, what did we think? Is the hate for the Resurrections deserved? Could the story continue after this? Would you take the red pill or eat a good steak? Be honest, let us know in the comments.